Hello, my name is Prazian. I'm researcher at Mykhailo University, and the presentation is about sustainability and resilience, digital technologies for GHG Scope 3. The present sustainability, resilience, and climate agenda constituted by the Paris Agreement and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals stands behind the approved milestones for 2030 and 2050s. Many reasons indicates a little progress. And a sufficient level of digital scientific program, education, literacy, refer to decarbonization and digital technologies. The presentation aim is describing benchmark and digital platforms to ensure data monitoring, management, and carbon reduction. The study considers Scope 3 issue via the lens of the supply chain with the idea to unzip the potential for environment protection and better sustainability and resilience. As you know, GHG greenhouse gas protocol defines three scopes. Scope 1 is about primary emission that belong to the companies. Scope 2 is indirect emission, and Scope 3 is emissions that don't belong to the company, and exactly Scope 3 is linked closely with supply chain. You can see it at the picture. Why Scope 3 is the point of high significance? The reason is that Scope 3 constitute about 70–80% of total emission, number one point. The second point is Scope 3 is 5.5 times larger than Scope 1 and Scope 2 emission altogether, and more than 11 times, more precisely 11.4 times larger than Scope 1. Why specific point is that problem stakeholders and carbon emitter encounter is so-called long tail dependency on suppliers, because stakeholders sometimes doesn't have control and have dependency on suppliers. To provide a strategy of carbon reduction, stakeholders need to manage Scope 3. For this purpose, they need to monitor and measure current level, manage it, and reduce. As you could look at the picture. At this picture, you see the regulatory environment with regard to Scope 3 and ecological, social, and governance policy, ECG. Since 2024, this year, reporting becomes mandatory in the UE and affiliated countries. You could see at the picture. To provide a comprehensive measure, there is needs to obtain to be familiar with plenty of technologies, and the role of these technologies is shown at this slide. Coming back to the digital technologies, Scientists, the researcher indicates 11 most significant technologies, namely artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchains, proximity technology, robotic digital application, computing, gas bottle technologies, immersive environment, IoT, open and cross-based platform. Subject of technologies has serious connection with technology readiness level invented by NASA and there is huge influence with regard to the level the technology stand. The first level is weak level of development, technology development, and the highest is 9. Because of the fact that most corporations and SME doesn't have relevant online system for monitoring and management of GHG data gathering for it leaves a lot of requests to support from the getting access to the benchmark and cooperation with consultancy. One of the best sources of benchmark is the science-based target index. And if company have capacity to address to the digital platforms and key provider, digital provider, they could help, but not always for free. More specifically, it is Sustain Analytics, MCSI, Persephone, Gwendoline 2, Impact, Clarity IE, Climate Intelligence Platform, MarketSite, Workiva, EcoVadis, the Hero platform, and some others, as you see it at the slide. The next slide delivered case study with regard to the information and communication systems, ITC system, as a part of general class of the critical infrastructure. You know that critical infrastructure comprised of energy sector, transport sector, agri sector, buildings, and many others, including digital infrastructure. The information communication systems are the key element. You could see structure of ICT systems that encompass the infrastructure and ICT services. And this current status quo is not simple, because now ICT sector issued about 2% of the total global emission, with tendency to spike in upcoming decades. What is interesting today, ICT sectors consume 4% of total energy production, with tendency to rise until 14%. This slide demonstrates specific regulation and standards with regard to GHG Scope 3 management. For sure, providing new technology and even addressing to the benchmark of digital platforms require sustainable access to the sustainable finance, and vice versa. Companies could get sustainable finance if they will meet to the ESG regulation and status and ratings. The same situation with education, because new technologies require new skills, providing upskilling, reskilling programs, and so on. And to conclude, Today is stakeholders need to address to human-computer interactions because of computing and digital technology doesn't have relevant level of development. Stakeholders need to address to the benchmark and digital platforms and provide tech expansion and digital resiliency and sustainability in order to manage scopes 3 in particular, must be ready at whatever happens for time of peace or for times of war. Thank you for your attention. Here is my contacts.